On the news tonight, no senator is interested in Buhari's impeachment, Senator Orji Kalu insists. Court sacks Taraba APC governorship candidates, orders fresh primary. And NDLEA busts cocaine warehouse in Lagos, seizes 193 billion naira worth of crack. Many thanks for joining us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogorinde. The Chief Whip of the Senate, Orji Kalu, says there is no talk about the impeachment of President Muhammadu Buhari as insecurity, which informed the impeachment threat, has improved. On July the 27th, some senators cutting across the ruling and opposition parties had given President Buhari a 6-week ultimatum to address insecurity or face impeachment from office. The Senate proceeded on its annual recess shortly after the ultimatum was given, which had since expired. Speaking with journalists on Tuesday in Abuja, the former governor of Abia State said that the All Progressives Congress senators have the numbers to resist the impeachment move.
Generally, there is a daily improvement on security every day, and we want to sustain that tempo. And if we see the tempo being sustained, nobody, either bipartisanly, will mention the impeachment of the president on the floor. Senate president is joint vote of confidence, 100% in the floor of the House. But we don't say anybody cannot put impeachment. You can try, but will you succeed? Is the problem. We have the numbers to defend the president of Nigeria and to defend the Senate president. We have the numbers in the floor there.
Speaking on his reasons for not supporting a presidential candidate from the Southeast, the former Abia governor said his decision is based on party affiliation, adding that the Igbos will be major beneficiaries if Bola Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress, APC, is elected president.
The Igbos are going to be the biggest beneficiary of Tinubu's presidency. And you will see, take me to it, hold me responsible. Because he is quite close to me. There are no more than 10 Nigerians as close as to Bola Tinubu. That's the truth. You may ask me, why did you not support me initially? But I'm a senator, and my boss and my roommate was running. I have to follow him. This is the issue. Not that I was against Tinubu. So it's an issue you must choose one. But now we have fought the family fight inside the family. We are going to the external fight. So external fight, everybody who contested for presidency, everybody who ran with Tinubu, all of us will come together and deliver to our party. We are the largest party. All these people scratching is a waste of time. If you know politics, you know that we have won the election. Not by anything, not by talking. I'm a student of politics. I tell myself the truth. Many politicians think about sentiment.
The acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN Olukayode Ariwola, will on Wednesday appear before the Senate for screening and confirmation of his appointment by President Muhammadu Buhari. The President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, discloses during his welcome address at the plenary on Tuesday after 8-week recess. Lawan said Ariwola would appear before the Committee of the Whole of the Senate to commence a screening exercise. Speaking on security situation in the country, the Senate President assured that the Senate will continue to engage with the defense and security agencies through its appropriate committees to ensure that the engagements are sustained.
Distinguished colleagues, in the next 3 months, our focus will largely be on the confirmation of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, work on the medium-term expenditure framework fiscal strategy paper 2023-2025, budget estimates 2023, working to support our defense and security forces, amongst others. From the assessment of the prevailing situation, our security agencies are recording more successes and the situation seems to be improving. Nonetheless, the Senate will continue to engage with defense and security agencies through its appropriate committees to ensure that the engagements are sustained and the successes are sustained as well.
A federal high court in Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, has sacked the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in the state, Emmanuel Boacha. Boacha's sacking comes after a petition by one of the aspirants, David Sabo Kante, relying on the evidence before the court that no governorship primary was held in Taraba State. Justice Simon Amobeba ordered a fresh primary within 14 days. The judge also ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to stop forthwith the recognition of Emmanuel Bwacha as the candidate of the party, and that the current senator representing Taraba South, in turn, should desist from parading himself as the governorship candidate of the APC. Moving on now to education, President Muhammadu Buhari has called for collaborative partnerships that will build a framework of ideas to transform educational systems globally. Buhari spoke on Monday while delivering Nigeria's statement at Transforming Education Summit organized on the sidelines of the 77th session of the UN General Assembly. Buhari said it would be difficult to have a meaningful conversation around transforming the national education systems without transforming the teaching profession. It therefore called for more deliberations on efforts to expand innovations and research on teacher education and the professional development of teachers. Meanwhile, the meeting with the House of Representatives, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, and other stakeholders is currently ongoing to find lasting solution to the lingering crisis between the striking lecturers and the federal government. To speak further on the issue, I'm joined now by Akintaye Babatunde, the Vice President, External Affairs of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, everyone can attest to the fact that Nigerian students are the biggest losers in this crisis between ASU and the federal government. But to what extent do you think the protests by NANS yesterday will be effective?
We know the protest is going to have effect. That is why we're taking steps. Took the bold step to have that protest. It wasn't an easy one. Started the protest since last week. Started at Shagamu, went to Ibadan 2 gates, then we went to Dogon in Osun State, and we went to Oretu. The first phase of the protest is what led to the meeting today. I made the speaker, the rep speaker to call the ASU president for a meeting, not even yesterday. And yesterday, we can tell you, after the protest, even during the protest, we knew they are now taking steps, which that is just what we want. We don't even want their step alone, because they had 7 months to resolve this issue. 7 good months and counting. So that is why we have came out, and we believe that the only way now, the only way out is with the students to come out in mass, continue this agitation, because we don't want to be at home by the time they will start the political campaigns. Then we are receiving them. We have to lose more, and that is why we started this. So we are already seeing it. We know that the protest will be effective because we are challenging major places in this country.
Now, Akintaye, tell us, this is of course not the first time that ASU would go on strike. And we've seen several incidents where students' time in the universities, say for example, someone was supposed to be in school for 4 years, going on for 5, 6, or even 7 years. So does your organization or your association now plan to hold other strike or other protests to ensure that government listens to the Nigerian students?
We started our agitation last. Told you we started our agitation last, and we are not relenting. There are a lot of fans that are on ground on this protest. It is not just yesterday. We just decided to look today, just to look at what if you are conversant now, you will see other zones are joining this agitation. As we speak to you, there's a plan to storm Abuja Airport. There's a plan to storm Apapa, the Nigeria Port Authority in Apapa. There's a plan to storm the international airport in Adamawa. There is a plan to storm the international airport in Kano. There is a plan to storm the international airport in Port Harcourt. So all those things are what is coming on. We just started, and we are not going to relent until they call off this strike. We just want them to call off this strike. We've not been involved in their negotiations. The students have not been involved in their negotiations. So now it's good. Let them negotiate. Let them meet and call off this strike, because it's not making sense again. It's not making sense. So that is it. As far as they did not call off this strike, we'll continue to agitate and to protest in a very well coordinated manner. It's our right, it's our legal right to protest. So anybody that is not pleased with this should just do the right thing. The government are not prepared to do the right thing by doing what? By calling off the strike.
Well, indeed, Akintaye Babatunde, NAN's Vice President, External Affairs, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. Well, as part of activities to mark its 40th year anniversary, the Nigerian Labour Congress has launched a book which captures historical landmarks on the struggle of the movement. Giving an insight to the content of the book, the NLC President, Ayuba Waba, explained that the book elaborates a brief history of the Congress and why certain actions were taken and the motives behind them. Also speaking, the pioneer president of the NLC, Hassan Sumonu, lamented the protracted industrial action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities in Nigeria, ASU, and called on the government to prioritize education by addressing its impasse with ASU. On his part, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, disclosed that efforts are ongoing by the federal government to review the 2019 national minimum wage, currently pegged at 30,000 naira.
The contemporary history of working class struggle, the product of that decision, is a historical compendium of challenges, successes, and milestones of Nigerian workers and their representative trade unions under the auspices of the Nigerian Labour Congress as a national center. It captures the story of the NLC from the colonial era to the period after independence, to the period of the reorganization of NLC, and through the dark years of the military rule, and the struggles of the working class in the past 23 years under democratic rule.
ASU first gave 4 weeks notice of strike, 4 weeks strike notice after government failed to implement agreement signed between it and government. For 4 weeks, they didn't even say anything, as if nothing had happened. If on the 15th of March, they have called ASU, that strike would have ended that day. They didn't call ASU. ASU met again, added 3 months to the 1 month. They didn't call them. You see how we are playing and joking with our development of our human resources and human capital? If we are not careful, we are going to pay dearly for some of this crime against Nigerian nation and Nigerian people.
The inflation is worldwide. It's not confined to Nigeria. That is why in many jurisdictions there's an adjustment now. There must be an adjustment of wages to reflect what is happening in the economy.
As part of its mandate to curtail illicit production, importation, exportation, sale and trafficking of psychoactive substances in Nigeria, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have busted a cocaine warehouse in Lagos State, seizing 193 billion naira worth of crack. The NDLEA spokesperson, Femi Babafemi, described the development as one of the biggest singular cocaine seizures in the agency's history. He also revealed that the feat was achieved after extensive investigation with American Drug Enforcement Administration. Our correspondent, Simisola Digun, tells us more in this report.
In what can be described as one of the biggest singular cocaine seizures in Nigeria, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have busted a major warehouse in a secluded estate in Lagos where 1,855 kilograms of illicit drugs worth over 199 billion naira was found. The estate, located at number 6 Olukuala Crescent, Sholebo Estate in Ikorodu, was raided by the agency on Sunday, where 4 drug barons, including a Jamaican and the warehouse manager, were arrested in their hideouts in different parts of Lagos. The NDLEA spokesperson Femi Babafemi said the effort followed a well-coordinated and intelligence-led operation which lasted 2 days across different locations in Lagos State.
Behind them, they are members of an international syndicate that the agency has been on their trail since 2018. And just lo and behold, a few days, by the grace of God, we were able to track them down to this building. This building, the man, please, I'm not talking to you. This building, it looks unoccupied, but then it's a warehouse for this international cartel.
Babafemi said preliminary investigation also revealed the cartel was trying to sell the drugs in 10 travel bags and 13 drums to buyers in Europe, Asia, and other parts of the world.
You should give the NDLA thumbs up, because to be able to get to this place, this is a secluded estate in this part of Lagos. You would know that that must have taken a lot of work. With the support, we have to acknowledge the support of our foreign counterpart, that's the American Drug Enforcement Administration, USDA. So this was jointly handled between the NDLA and USDA. So it's a lot of work.
While commending all the officers and men of the agencies involved in the extensive investigation, Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, said the game has changed for drug trafficking in Nigeria. Simisola Adigun, TV360 News.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, World Athletics ratifies Toby Amusan's 100-meter hurdles record. Details of the story and more right after this break.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians are saying in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. The Chief Whip of the Senate, Orji Uzor Kalu, says there is no talk about the impeachment of President Muhammadu Buhari as insecurity, which informed the impeachment threat, has improved. On July the 27th, some senators cutting across the ruling and opposition parties had given President Muhammadu Buhari a 6-week ultimatum to address insecurity or face impeachment from office. We also told you that a federal high court in Jalingo, the Taraba state capital, has sacked the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate in the state, Emmanuel Bwacha. Bwacha's sacking comes after a petition by one of the aspirants, David Sabo Kante, replying on the evidence before the court that no governorship primary was held in Taraba state. Justice Simon Amodeba ordered a fresh primary within 14 days. Well, in case you miss any of our news bulletin or for more updates, log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. The long-awaited BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine for children may be available in Hong Kong as early as next month, after the drug maker this week applied to the government for permission to supply the lower dosage shots. The shots containing just a tenth of the adult dosage are considered sufficient in protecting against the coronavirus and are less likely to cause severe side effects in younger population. Hong Kong authorities lowered the age threshold for Sinovac's COVID-19 vaccine to 6 months on August 2nd after several infected toddlers became seriously ill, with one 22-month-old girl dying. But officials said they would hold talks over the procurement order and wait until BioNTech submitted its application before lowering the age of eligibility for the vaccine. With 4,043 new coronavirus infections being reported in a day, India's total tally of COVID-19 cases has risen to 44,543,089, while the active cases declined to 47,379. This is according to an update released by the Union Health Ministry data on Tuesday morning. Meanwhile, the death count climbed to over 528,000. I will take a breather here and return with more stories in business. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Abisola Adebayo joins us now for the latest in the world of business. Over to you, Abisola.
Welcome to Business News. The 36 states of the Federation grew their combined internally generated revenue by 360 billion naira in 2 years. They grew the IGR from 1.31 trillion naira in 2019 to 1.67 trillion naira in 2021. This is according to the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum, Governor Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State. Fayemi made the declaration in Abuja at the 8th IGR peer learning event and launch of the NGF public finance database. He said the share of IGR in total recurrent revenue of the state also rose from 31% in 2019 to 35% in 2021. Fayemi thereafter attributed the improvement to the conscious reforms in tax administration in the state. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Communications Commission says it has remitted over 409 billion naira into the Federation account from the 5G auction sales to telcos in the first quarter of the year. The Executive Vice Chairman of the Commission, Umar Dambata, made this known while appearing before the Senate Committee of Finance on Monday at the National Assembly to give its report on the medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategic paper. The telecom regulatory body further indicated that it is likely to generate more revenue into the federal government's coffers from the 2 slots yet to be auctioned.
All these figures, distinguished chairman of the committee, look very, very attractive because of the successful auction of spectrum, where we sold 2 slots, each at a total sum of $273 million. I mean, $273,600,000. Okay. So when you use the current exchange rate, multiply this by two slots, that will give you 2 times $273,600,000 into 2 places. That will give you, something in the region of $574 million. And then using the current exchange rate, that will give an idea of how much we were able to generate on the 2 slots of the 5G spectrum which we auctioned.
Yes, it's something that goes straight directly to the CRF of the federal government. There's no fear. Even if the budget does not capture it now,
it will still go.
Once the transaction is done,
yes,
it will go into the account.
Yes.
So no qualms, but it is good for us that at least we have it on a good note that
is the law.
Yeah.
Distinguished chairman,
about
all spectrum money must go to the CRF. and the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation
that about over 500 billion
will
naira
be there to check and ensure compliance.
over 500 billion naira is coming to the CRF from NCC, and that alone can, at least if that alone go into our deficit, it brings down the deficit in terms of revenue, because once the revenue goes up, the deficit go down, so it's automatic.
Well, we'll take a break now and return with a review of the stock market. Finally, Nigeria's equities market rose slightly by 0.01% today, despite analyst expectation of another slow trading session following a record negative takeoff to the new week. The market capitalization also increased by 7 billion naira to close at 26.670 trillion naira at the close of trading, but still far from our expected 27 trillion naira mark. The record positive close was driven, among others, by First Bank Holdings, which rose from 10 naira to 10 naira 50 kobo, adding 5%, and automobile retailer RT Briscoe, which moved up slightly from 30 kobo to 33 kobo, up by 10% at the close of trading today. Total Energies led laggards after a share price moved down, losing 23 naira 40 kobo, followed by Learn Africa. Meanwhile, in 3,323 trades today, 147 million units of shares were traded, valued at 2.3 billion naira. This positive run is coming back to the market after the NGX released its dividend policy on Monday, which ensures that shareholders received returns on their investment. So hopefully this positivity will stay on the market till the end of the week. Moving on to the global scene, traders are rapidly ramping up their bets on interest rate rise, betting that the Bank of England will raise rates to 3.75 PC by the end of the year. The Dow Jones also declined on Tuesday as the Federal Reserve kicked off its September policy meeting, and Wall Street braced for another large rate hike due out on Wednesday. Japan stocks Nikkei also in the negative, recording a 1.11% decline. That's all on stock market report. Back to Folashade for the rest of the news.
Well, many thanks, Abisalan. On the foreign scene, the United Nations Annual Summit has returned in person for the first time in 3 years on Tuesday, with UN Chief Antonio Guterres warning in his opening speech of an upcoming winter of global discontent, from rising prices, a warning planet, and deadly conflicts. The 77th General Assembly meeting of world leaders convened under the shadow of Europe's first major conflict since World War II. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has also urged wealthy nations to tax fossil fuel companies and use the proceeds to compensate for damage from climate change and provide relief over rising prices. In sports, the world record set by Toby Amuson in the women's 100-meter hurdles semi-final at the Athletics Championships in Oregon in July of this year has been validated by the World Athletics. This was disclosed on the athletics body's official website via a statement on Tuesday. Amuson ran a time of 12.12 seconds, defeating former world record holder Kendra Harrison, who had set the world record in the 100 meters hurdles with a time of 12.20 seconds in 2016. And that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.